Hello, students. Welcome to Easy Elimu Learning Simplified. My name is Mr. Stanley Ombogo. Dear students, this is another session that we have right here. And in this session, I'd like us to look at active and passive voice. So, by the end of the session, you should be able to, distinguish between active voice and passive voice. And apart from that, by the end of the session, you should be able to, to change an active voice to a passive voice in a sentence. So I'm going to start, that is by looking at active voice. But before that, dear students, a sentence can either have a verb in active form or a passive form. So talking about the active form or the active voice, a verb is said to be in active voice when when its form shows that the person or thing acting as the subject does something or is the doer of the action. So I'm repeating, a verb is said to be in active voice when when its form shows that the person or thing acting as the subject does something or is the doer of the action. So in this case, it is the object that is affected. So the subject, just to remind you, subject is the performer of an action or the doer of an action, whereas the object is the receiver of the action, the receiver of the action that is done by the subject. So there is this example here to illustrate that. James is writing the notes. So in that example, James is the subject doing the action, and the action is writing. So there are also other examples. That is, Richard locked the door. So Richard is the subject, and therefore the doer of the action, and the action here is locked. Then the object is the door. So another example, he is buying a phone. So we have a pronoun that has been used in place of a noun or instead of a noun. So it represents again our subject, and the action here is buying. Then the object is a phone. Then we also have Silas loves Mary. So Silas is the doer of the action, and the action is loves. Then the object is Mary. Then we have Ken gives offering. So Ken is the subject. The action here is give. Then the object is offering. So that is all about active voice. So let us proceed to the next. That is passive voice. So a passive voice, dear students, refer to the verb when its form shows that something is done to the subject. So that the subject is not active and suffers or receives the action. So in passive voice, the doer of the action, dear students, in the passive voice, the doer or the performer of the action now changes to the position of the object. So that is why we say that the subject is not active and suffers or receives the action. So it is the opposite of what we saw in active voice, where the subject was the performer. So in passive voice, the subject is not active. It is not performing any action. So example, we have Mary is loved by Silas. So in our previous example, that is in the previous sentence, in active voice we had Silas loves Mary. So Silas was the doer or was the performer of the action, and the action was loves, and the object or the receiver of the action was Mary. So in passive, now Mary is put in the front or initial position, and therefore it makes the subject, that is Silas, now inactive. So Mary is loved by Silas. Another example, offering is given by Ken. So remember that under active we had, Ken gives offering. So in passive, it will change to offering is given by Ken. So dear students, something to note is that when you change an active voice into a passive one, the subject of the verb becomes the object of the verb. So the doer or the performer of the action now plays the role of the receiver in the sentence. And often the word by is used to show this relationship. So let us study the examples that we have below. So Tom kicks the ball. Now that is in active voice. Tom kicked the ball. That is in active. So for the subject of the verb to change to the object of the verb, we will have a new sentence that reads, "The ball was kicked by Tom," and this new sentence is now in passive form or passive voice. So there is the word by that we have introduced to show this relationship. So another thing that is interesting, dear students, and again worth noting, is that the by word sometimes is not used in active voice when only one agent is known, especially if the subject was indefinite pronoun. Remember, indefinite pronouns are pronouns like someone, something, and so on. So look at the examples below. Someone kicked the ball. So that is in active. So we have an indefinite pronoun, someone. Now in passive, the by word will not be used. So we will have now a new sentence that reads, "The ball was kicked." So there is no by word there. Another example with an indefinite pronoun, someone stole my pen. So the indefinite pronoun here is someone. So to rewrite that into passive, we will have a new sentence that is, my pen was stolen. So we are not really, it is not clear who stole the pen, but the information that we have is that the pen was stolen. And remember, that is the reason why those type of pronouns are referred to as indefinite pronouns. So apart from that, sometimes obvious objects are omitted. That is, they are omitted in passive voice. For example, if it is clear or if we know whoever did or performed the action, like look at the example that is there below. He handed her. He handed the chair. Yes, sorry. He handed her the chair. So in passive, we will have the chair was handed to her. So there is by him in bracket, and the reason why I have enclosed by him within the bracket is to indicate that even with the omission of the word by, that is by him, the sentence will still be clear. So the chair was handed to her, full stop. The chair was handed to her by him. That is also okay. But the rule is that the obvious objects are sometimes omitted in passive voice. So the phrase by him is obvious and can be left out, but the sentence would retain its meaning still. So what is important is retaining the meaning of the sentence. So you must also ensure that the meaning of the sentence is not changed. So another example, somebody hit the dog with a stick. So the other version that we have now in passive voice is, the dog was hit with a stick. So because we have got an indefinite pronoun used to refer to to a person, that is somebody, and it is not clear, so we don't have to repeat that. So let us look at how to change a sentence from active voice to passive voice. So dear students, follow the steps below in order to change the sentence from active to passive voice. So The first instruction is that move the active sentence's direct object in the subject's slot. So if we have a sentence, remember a sentence that is having a subject, the action itself, and an object, you are advised to move the active sentence's direct object in the subject slot. That is, you interchange the positions. Then the next thing, place the active sentence's subject into a phrase beginning with the preposition by. Then after that, add a form of the auxiliary verb, that is in the form of the verb to be, to the main verb and change the main verb's form. So let us, try and use the instructions to try and change the sentence that we have from active voice to passive voice. So Richard locked the door. So if we interchange the positions, we take the subject to the position of the object, we will have now the door was. So remember, we are also instructed to add a form of the auxiliary verb, that is in the form of the verb to be. So the door was locked. So we add it to the main verb. Then we move to the next instruction, that is placing the active sentence as subject into a phrase beginning with the preposition by. So the door was locked by, then we will now have the subject coming last, Richard. So the door was locked by Richard. So dear students, I want to believe that that was super helpful. Thank you for staying with me till the end, and remember to always keep it easy, Limo. Until next time.